The WSU Extension Master Gardener program empowers and sustains diverse communities with relevant, unbiased, research-based horticulture and environmental stewardship education to address 9 important concerns facing Washington residents.
So Lisa and I bought this property about 12 and a half years ago, and we weren't sure what we wanted to do beyond retirement except for traveling. We did know, however, that we wanted to put in something that was good for the environment because both of us have been environmentalists all our lives. We didn't have much experience with it, but the Master Gardener program offered a kind of a concentrated, in-depth snapshot of many different areas, and that proved very helpful for us. The Master Gardener program kindled our understanding of the relationship between plants and pollinators, and this was kind of the start of where we got going with this garden. One of the first things I bumped into, and I think it was in a way lucky, was the Xerces Society. The Xerces guidelines that we follow are very simple and very specific. I mentioned you have groups of plants because when a pollinator comes in, as we've learned, that they want to have the same technique for removing that source of food from the plant and not have to rediscover it on the next source. So grouping of plants is good, but also it's a diversity of plants because many pollinators want different types of sources of nectar, for instance. And then finally, you want to have blooms as much throughout the year as possible.
My favorite part of the garden is the way that things do come into bloom at different times so that the pollinators are always fed. And just being able to watch the pollinators, we have lots of moths and hummingbirds and all sorts of pollination going on. And that really helps the vegetable garden that we have also that Jim put in. So the fact that the emphasis has been on bringing the pollinators in has just made a huge difference in this whole garden.
But our focus is on native plants. The beauty of native plants, which I learned from Master Gardener program, is the invertebrates, the pollinators here, don't have to reinvent or they don't have to rediscover how to extract the food from them. This property is 100% pesticide, herbicide, all kinds of side-free. We don't use any of it. All the weeding is done in hands and knees. But what we've also done is we've also put in good contact with the earth, rocks and logs. What it does is it provides a place for the beneficial, as they call them, insects to come out that eat aphids and so forth. And ever since I put those in, we really have had no problem with aphids at all. We have a source of water. We put a pond in. It's a small pond, but it's perfect. It's fed off rainwater from the gutters. Almost everything we did here was we tried to be centric in terms of conservation of water. If a bee or a pollinator lands in the pond, they can easily get a rock and approach and get their water and fly off without getting stuck down in there. We built a bee structure that was specifically designed for mason bee and leafcutter bee. The structure is waterproof and it faces the sun in the morning, so it gets the direct morning sunlight. And we also provide a source of mud nearby so the mason bee can have an easier time building their nest. It's protected from the weather in morning sunlight and it works really well. The process of learning is never ending. So in terms of new stuff, after our 12 years of discovery and construction, is really now all about what plants are more native, are compatible, and work better with pollinators.
But it is so amazing when the oregano takes off and blooms, the whole thing is covered with bees. So we know that we're doing something right. Well,
that is so true. The real issue is that there's a connection between human food sources and pollinators. So without that, there's going to be a loss of what people have to eat. And also, they're just fun to have around your garden. I mean, I've taken bumblebees off by hand from the plants and they'll rest. And they're just amazing. It's a different world all of a sudden to people. And that's what it's all about to us. It's the next generation of education that, hey, I can coexist with pollinators and we can have a garden and we don't have to use pesticides. So that learning experience is a big part of what we do here.